You know what that means. Saturday is the day when we get to sit back, talk some hoop, and just kick it on Chill with Chill.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as we all know, NBA season is over,
Mm-hmm.
but but we still get a lot of action with some NBA players this year because right now we have the Euro Cup, I believe it's called the Euro Cup tournament is going on right
That's
now.
correct. Yep.
And tons of NBA players are taking part in that, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Um, so let's start with a really good player who had a really good game yesterday. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, Chill, I'm talking about Lauri Markkanen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Yesterday, Lauri Markkanen had 48 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 steals. He made 7 threes along the line of getting those 48 points, Chill.
Ox, if you think about the Euro game from the American game, it's a lot different. Sure,
In
more
what way?
ball movement. Mm-hmm. Well, it's a lot different, and there's more ball movement. There's more action off the ball. There's definitely purpose with ball movement. It's not like guys are just passing the ball and moving around. No, they're definitely looking to make something happen. When a back screen, when I see Bojan set a back screen on Joker's man, he's popping to the ball because he knows that the guy who he back screen is going to help on Joker. He's going to pop to the basketball. He's going to be wide open for a shot. I mean, that's moving with purpose. You know, the Australian national team, when I watched them in the Olympics, Ox, that's some of the most beautiful basketball that I've ever seen. The problem with the Australian national team is that they just aren't talented enough. But the action that they get when we have a split action, and when we have a split action, we got a split action where a curl cut and Josh Giddey is going to the rim on that curl cut, because when he comes around, that guy has to help off the curl cut. He has to help, and he's asking for the basketball. When he's asking for the basketball, that guy helps. And then, why am I drawing a blank on his name? But he used to play for the Spurs.
Patty?
Patty Mills, that's him. So Patty Mills pops to the basketball, and then you got your big guy in the post who dives to the rim, and he's wide open on the box. The problem is that they just aren't talented enough. But I feel like the international game, there's a lot more purpose with what they do. With that being said, Ox, I feel like this enhances Lauri Markkanen's game, and I feel like they wasted him in Utah. The amount of wide open shots he got in transition, wide open. I mean, if he made 7 threes, I'm guessing that 3 of them were wide open, right? So if he's making threes like that, in the process of him making threes like that, Lauri Markkanen is also, when we talk about transition players, James, Giannis, Jaylen Brown, Pascal Siakam. Lauri Markkanen is one of the best transition players in the game. Big time transition player. Great stop and pop guy. I feel like they're wasting him in Utah. I mean, he's 28 years old, Ox. To see what he's doing, it's hard as hell. It's hard to score 40 in a high school game. It's hard to score 40 in a pickup game. This dude did it in international competition against other professionals. That tells me that whatever they're doing in Utah, they got to change it. And they got to change it now, Ox, because you're wasting this guy. He's 28 years old. He looks to be quite possibly a franchise player. And when I watch him play, I watch his game, and it's very similar to like what they ran in San Antonio. And what I'm imagining when I watch him is I'm imagining like 10 years ago when we just finished the 14-15 season. I'm imagining what Pop would have did with him. Like how good he would have been playing for Pop in terms of how good he is in transition, how good he is at moving the basketball, screen setting, understanding the game. How much better would he have been playing for Coach Popovich? How much better would he have been playing for Phil Jackson? Guys like that, because I feel like the game complements. I mean, I feel like his game complements styles like that. So I feel like what they're doing. I feel like what they're doing is they don't have a plan in what they're doing with him in Utah. And I mean, like I said, he's 28 years old. I don't know. I don't know how many more years we have left at this level, especially because bigs actually age a lot faster than smaller guys do, and I think that's because of the wear and tear on them and all of the more of the things that they have to do, more of the things that they have to do. With that being said, a guy like Lauri Markkanen, who I'm convinced that if he was in a better situation, I think that he would be much better. I mean, he made the All-Star team, Ox. I mean, it's clear in Utah, by the way. I mean, it's clear that this guy can play. It's obvious that he can play. It's just, I think he's in a bad situation in Utah, and I think we're getting robbed of how good this guy really is, and we don't get to see him.
Right. Chill, when you say they're wasting him in Utah, are you saying that they should be building more around him, or they should let him go?
Whenever I say stuff like you're wasting a guy, you're not maximizing him. And when you're not maximizing him, that means that you're not building the unit around him, and you're not putting him in space, and you're not putting him in an offense and in defense to make him the best that he can possibly be. And again, when I think about what's going on with Lauri Markkanen, I think he's been there 3 years now. Yeah, he got traded he was in the Donovan Mitchell trade. It was in 2023. And in the 3 years, that he's been there, they have not maximized him, and they have not turned him into what he actually could really be. I mean, he made, like I said, Ox, he made the All-Star team, one of the best transition players. You got to get a better transition point guard. Your defense needs to be better. You got to play faster. You got to put him in spaces where he can be as productive as he can possibly be. And when you're not doing that, then why do you have him here? You're wasting your time with him, because I understand the logic of wanting to sell tickets. All right, I get that part. But if I got a guy like Lauri Markkanen, my idea is I'm building my unit around him. I'm building my unit around his strengths. And what are his strengths? He's actually a solid rebounder. Not a great rebounder, but a solid rebounder. Great transition player. Great shooter. Damn good one-on-one player. One of the better finishers in the game. Not a great defender, but will compete on the defensive end. Solid rebounder. I got to put this stuff around him to maximize him if I'm building it around him. And I think when they got him, I want to say Ox, he was 25. He's 28 years old. They're still at the bottom of the West. They're still at the bottom of the West. I think that they're wasting him. And to see what he did yesterday, 49 points, 8 rebounds, Ox, like to play in international competition like that, on top of playing in international competition like that, playing in this kind of atmosphere, Ox, I mean, you've been to Europe. You know how serious it is when these guys are playing against each other in settings like this. Like this might be a step down, maybe. And when I say a step, Ox, I mean a short step down from the Olympics, because this is for the belt in Europe, right? So Greece, Germany, all of these teams, right? All of these teams, they're playing to say that we're the best in Europe. So when the Euro Cup comes around, it's the best players from Greece. It's the best players from Germany. It's the best players from Spain, very much like the Olympics. And they go at it. It's the best players from Serbia. And for Lauri Markkanen to do what he did yesterday tells me that, yo, this guy is the real deal. I'm not sure that they know what they're doing with him in Utah.
I think Lauri Markkanen is one of those situations, Chill, where he's just he's a casualty of war.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? Like there's been so many great players that never had the opportunity to win. You know what I mean? There's like even the bottom tier teams got to have a guy. You know, and I fear that's just that's what's in the cards for Lauri. I don't see Danny Ainge coming off of Lauri for cheap at all. I think he's going to keep asking for whatever it is he's asking for.
Yep.
And if he doesn't get that, I think he'll just rock with Lauri and let Ace Bailey develop.
Yep.
I mean, they're going to have another really good draft pick this year. I mean, Utah's going to be trash again.
I think so. Which is kind of ironic too, Ox, considering, Danny Ainge actually does a good job in drafting. He does a good job in putting guys in space where they can be successful. I mean, I actually like Isaiah Collier. I think Isaiah Collier could be a really good point guard. I like Keon George. Man, I like Kamante Joe. I like these guys that they have. Why hasn't Walker Kessler, who was on the FIBA national team 2 years ago, why hasn't he developed into one of the better defensive players that we thought that he was going to be? Why hasn't this happened already? I mean, I think we're in year 3 or year 4 with him. Why aren't we talking about him like we're talking about Evan Mobley, right? Like we're talking about Bam, because this was the case with him when he first showed up, that, this might be the second coming of Rudy Gobert. He looked like a fantastic rim protector. He looked like a great rebounder. And I remember him when he was at Clemson, right? I remember how good he was in terms of being a big. And I thought that would translate. It hasn't. So now I got to look at management. And I don't mean Danny Ainge specifically. Okay, who's at the helm here? Is Will Hardy as good a coach as I think he is, or does he just not know what to do with these guys? I understand, Ox, that the game has changed, and I understand how quickly and how rapidly the game's changed. But that's part of it. You got to change with it, and if you don't change with it, one of my best buddies told me a long time ago, adapt or die. It's really that simple. You either got to get with the times or you got to get gone. It's that simple.
So I wonder if the Spurs offered that number 2 pick to Utah for Lauri.
I think, well, actually, what I want to do is I want to rewind. I don't think that they did, but I do think that Danny Ainge asked Philly for that number 3 pick in exchange for the 5 pick. I do think he did that. I do think I'm confident that he did that, because I think that, and I'm going on record saying this, I think VJ was his. I think he liked Ace Bailey. I think he loves Ace Bailey, but I think that VJ was his guy. I think he wants to put VJ in the backcourt with Isaiah Collier. I think that was his guy. That's why he asked. Let me rephrase that, Ox. That's why he was trying to finagle Philly to give him that number 3 pick. That's why. Because I think VJ was his guy.
Yeah. If I'm San Antonio, I would have gave him that number 2 for Lauri.
I don't know if I hate that, to be honest with you, because if you look at what Lauri looked like with Wemby, what does Lauri look like with Wemby and Foxy and Castle?
San Antonio, they don't need Dillon, so
they really don't, because they got Fox. They really don't. You probably would have had to throw something else in because to make the money work. You probably would have had to. You probably would have had to throw something else
Barnes, in. Sochan or somebody. Oh, Keldon Johnson. Keldon Johnson.
Something like that. You would have probably had to throw something else in order to get Lauri Markkanen in San Antonio. But I love Lauri Markkanen in San Antonio. We actually had this conversation a couple of months ago about what Lauri Markkanen would look like with Wemby and Fox. We had that conversation and how much better they would be. I think if you were to trade if that trade would have happened, Ox, with Lauri Markkanen, Wemby, Fox, Castle, I think they're a bona fide playoff team. I definitely think they make the playoffs. No doubt about that. I think he's that good.
I think they easily playoff team. If San Antonio were to have given the 2 and the number 2 pick in Keldon Johnson for Lauri Markkanen, oh yeah, that's a hell of a team right there.
I think that's a playoff team, Mox. Yes, I do.
But they did not.
No, they didn't.
And the Spurs still have quite a team on paper. I look at them; it's a pretty nice team. How good can the Spurs beat you?
Well, Ox, I'm thinking to myself, looking at this crew, it's very much like how I feel about the Clippers, and but in a different way. What I mean when I say that is, with the Clippers, all of the stuff that they added to that roster, this thing is going to come down to 2 things, right? This thing is going to come down to how James Harden performs in the playoffs and if Kawhi Leonard can continuously hold up. Because I think Kawhi Leonard can play at a high level consistently. The question is can he hold up? That's the $1 million question. With San Antonio, I feel similarly about them with the development of all of their guys, with the development of Castle, right? With the development of Castle, with the development of Sochan. Now having Fox on the crew, my question is, can Wemby stay healthy? That's the $1 million question with this crew in particular. Can Wemby stay healthy? And this whole thing is going to come down to the health and the development of Wemby, because this is your franchise player. He's that good. I want to, and if we're being honest, I've heard you, Ox, I've heard Mars, I've heard you guys talk to me about this San Antonio team and Wemby possibly being a top 10 player in the game. I've heard that from you guys. So if I got a top 10 player on my crew, and in my estimation, I said it before the 24-25 season started, I said I thought Foxy was a top 5 league guard coming into the game, into that season. So if I got a top 10 player, I got arguably a top 5 league guard, I got the rookie of the year, right? I got a big time vet in Harrison Barnes who still has the goods, right? Who clearly still has the goods. I think I got a damn good player in Devin Vassell and Kelvin Johnson, guys who can speed the game up. On top of that, I also have a big-time backup big who can get on the glass, who's really good in the pick and dive, and who's really good in cleaning up the glass and cleaning up the offensive glass, and Luke Cornett, and a rim protector, right? And a rim protector. If I have that, I mean, I feel like they got 10 guys over there with Champagne. You got Dylan Harper playing behind Foxy. We already know about Kevin. We already know about Devin Vassell. And I can't forget about Kelly O. Kelly O has always been one of those guys who I know you love him, Ox. I know you love Kelly O. Because Kelly O is one of them guys that'll come in and you forgot that he was on the crew. Next thing you know, you look at the game and he gave you 17 and 8. And you're like, damn, we needed that. And that's who Kelly O is. I think this team, as good as they are on paper, this is going to come down to the development and the health of Wemby more than anything, because everything that they're doing, especially defensively, everything that they're doing depends on Wemby as a rim protector, as a defensive presence in the paint. He's got to get better. He's got to get better as a post defender. I think he's got to get better. I think he's got to get stronger and stuff like that. I feel like it's really going to help them. But if we could get this team, if this team is going to be what it's going to be, it's going to depend on the health and the development of Wemby. So that's how good I think they're going to be. I think that they could be a legit playoff team, like 7, 8, something like that.
Yeah, health is the key for them.
Sure.
Definitely, with just what happened when we last year with the blood clots and whatnot. So, hopefully they got that situation taken care of. Obviously, not just for the sake of the game, but just for the sake of his health. The blood clots ain't nothing to play around about.
Nope.
Moving out east here, there's another kid out there that played yesterday, played for France, and that's Zachary Risacher, the former number 1 pick in the NBA draft.
Yep.
He had a decent outing from what I saw. Obviously, I didn't check out the whole game. But if he improves, his improvement, what does that mean for his team out east in the Atlanta Hawks?
Well, very much like Bronny, when we talked about Bronny in the summer league, coming into the summer league, one of the things that it was glaring to me was how much more physically developed he was and how much stronger he had gotten, which I feel like that enhances confidence. And Bronny James played with more confidence. I saw that yesterday with Risacher Ox. He looks like he's developing more physically. Looks like he's getting stronger. Looks like he's putting on a little bit more weight, and he's more aggressive going to the rim. And I don't know if it's me, Ox, because again, I see the game a little different than other people. Guys like Lauri Markkanen, guys like Zachary Risacher, they look different in international play. What I mean when I say that they look different, Ox, is it looks like it's more of their habitat. They look more comfortable playing in that style of game. And it looks like it enhances their game. It's almost like they have to adjust to the pro game here in America, right? Where in the NBA, the ball doesn't move as much, a lot more isolation. When they get into the international game, it's almost like lions in the Serengeti, where this is where I live. I'm used to this. This is how I'm used to playing. I'm used to playing off pick and roll. I'm used to playing off pick and dive. I'm used to playing in transition. I'm used to the ball moving. I'm used to being aggressive more. I'm not worried about having to not touch the ball for 3 or 4 trips. I'm not worried about that, because on this crew, that's going to happen. Well, if the Atlanta Hawks are smart, they see this and they see the development of him, because I think he's going to be a big part of what they're doing in Atlanta, because I think Atlanta is going to be that good. I got them 4 in the Eastern Conference. If he could continue to develop the way he's developing over this summer and keep that confidence, and Atlanta see that, and with Atlanta seeing that, implement some things that add to what he already is doing. What I mean when I say implement, Ox, I mean, okay, more ball movement, less one-on-one heliocentric stuff, because that enhances his game. I think that enhances his comfort level. And another thing too, Ox, we got to get off this. And I ain't gonna say we, because I'm not gonna speak for everybody. I got to get off this Euros a soft tag. That's over. Like, and
Chill, you one of those guys, Chill?
I feel like it, and I was like that for a long time. And the reason why I was like that for a long time was because I ain't know who Tony Kukoc was. That's why. I ain't really know who Marciulionis was until I started watching them. I'm like, yo, these dudes ain't soft. Like, Dirk Nowitzki is not soft. Luka is not soft, right? So I feel like with the Euro tag, like, that has to go away. And I feel like I've gotten off of it, but there's times when it kind of comes back. But then I think to myself, yo, just because he's French, that does not mean he's soft. Rudy Gobert is not soft. Wemby is not soft. This kid Risacher is not soft. No, he isn't.
See, so that's the one right there for me. I never really thought Euros were soft, but I 100% thought the Frenchies were soft.
It was a French thing.
Yeah, the French, I was like, no.
You ain't pushing me around, not you. The dude from Serbia or maybe the dude from Croatia, I don't know. Maybe that dude from Germany, I might be a little bit tougher, but you, nah, get out of here. You from Paris. People get married in Paris. They have weddings there and stuff like that.
No, but obviously I came up with that too, Charles. I'm with you on that. I'm going to tap in more into this the tournament out there. It's what is it? The Euro? It's the Euro Cup or what? That's the proper.
It's the Euro. It's called the Eurobasket Championship.
Eurobasket Championship. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm definitely going to tap in more into that because I love watching the international play for sure. It's good to see guys that are in the NBA that might not get much shine, but they get back over there and they get to step into their element and really show what they can do. So I always love when it's the summertime and we get to watch that. Definitely. Today, Chill, we're just talking about improvement today. We're talking about improvement for younger players. We're talking about improvement in terms of just teams and what they're doing. I want to talk more improvement. I want to talk about a guy that I'm quite fond of, Tyler Herro.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to talk about his progression through his 5 years in the league so far.
Sure.
And kind of like 6 years in the league so far, and what that looks like, and what can we expect for Tyler Herro in year 7? He's gone throughout the year. Rookie year averaging 13.5, year 2 averaging 15. He averaged 20 year 3, year 4, and year 5, and then last year 6 he stepped it up to 24 points. And also, his field goal percentage has been steady and even went up last year as well. What can we expect from Tyler Herro this year? And can he move the Miami Heat forward?
Well, you said this to me about I want to say about a year ago. We talked about had he been healthy in that NBA Finals against Denver, that's a different series. 100% a different series. And watching him and watching his development, Ox, you know how I feel about guys by year 5. This is probably who you are, but this is what we should expect from you moving forward. That doesn't mean that you're not going to get. That doesn't mean that you're not. Excuse me. That doesn't mean that you're not going to give me more productive seasons. But as a floor, this is probably what we should expect from you moving forward. So, year 5, I got 21 a game from Tyler Herro at about 45%, about 38% at the long ball line. That's what I'm looking at when I look at Tyler Herro in year 5. That's probably who he is, Ox. And maybe later on, right? Maybe in another year, 2 years, because he's still a young guy. I think he's 24. By 27. 26, 27. I might get a peak Tyler Herro where I might get 25 a game. I might get 26 a game, something like that. But moving forward, this is probably who he is, about a 19 to 22 a game guy, shooting at about 43 to 46% from the floor, and shooting anywhere between 38 to 41% on the long ball. That's probably who he is. A guy who he can be a bit of a liability on defense, where you can supplement that by putting guys around him to protect him. That's why they got Bam. That's why they got the rim protector in Khalil Ware. That's why they got Wiggins. You have guys around him to protect him so that he doesn't become that complete liability. But as a starting 2 guard in the NBA, in terms of an all-star or an elite player, I think this is who he is. I think the biggest problem that we have is I think that because he plays for the Miami Heat, we're expecting more from him when in reality, think about where he got drafted at, Ox. Okay, I think he was the 14th pick. The Heat stole him. But let's be clear about that. The Heat stole him at 14, and he's developed into one of the better stop and pop 2 guards in the game. He's great coming off the screens. He's a damn good long ball shooter. I think that he's great as a one-on-one player. He's gotten stronger with him doing all of that, right? With him doing all of that, I think that if you could get a lead guard in Miami, I think that they right there, and I think this kid Tyler Herro. This is why Miami has done such a good job in terms of developing. I've always been a fan of Miami's development. My fall pin, I thought it was the 14th pick, so the 13th pick. Fair enough. But they stole, so he was right. He was right on the cusp of the lottery, right? So he's right on the backside of the lottery, right? So I mean, they got him at 19 years old. He only played the 1 year at Kentucky. I feel like he's the mark of what other two guards, especially in the middle, close to the middle of the first round, should be looking at. Guys like Grady Dick. That's what I'm. If I'm Grady Dick, I'm like, all right, that's me right there. Do I have that kind of game? If I got that kind of game, that's who I'm modeling my game after. I don't know if Grady Dick is that good.
No, he's not.
I'm not gonna say that, Ox. But I feel like Grady Dick can shoot the basketball as well as Tyler Herro can. I think that he can do that. So if he can do that, I feel like him implementing that into his game, I think that makes a guy like Grady Dick more viable. But a guy like Tyler Herro, and the way that the Miami Heat have developed him, I think he's been great. I over these last 6 seasons, Ox, I think he's been great. I just think that they're a point guard away from really challenging in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I agree. I think Grady Dick is more Duncan Robinson than Tyler Herro, but I like him though. I'm big on Miami for this season coming up. With the way the East is right now too. I'm not saying they win the East or anything, but they'll be competitive. I think between Tyler Herro, Andrew Wiggins, and Bam Adebayo, I think they got a good little core group right there. If Khalil Ware, if he can improve still and just continue to play his game. I'm not sure what they do at the lead guard position, but I think they got some good pieces. Oh yeah, that's right. Norm.
Yeah, your man Norman Powell's down there. Yes.
Yes, sir. I like Miami. I like Miami.
Yes, sir. I forgot. I
100% forgot they got Norman Powell. Yeah, Miami. I got Miami. Yes, I do. I got Miami. So the only teams I'm sure that are better than Miami are Orlando, New York, and Cleveland. Miami, New York, and Cleveland. Those are only three teams. They got Davion. I forgot they got Davion Penn. Thank you. That's it.
He's their starting league guard. He's their starting league guard. Davion is.
Right. So it's just New York, Cleveland, and Orlando. And I think a team like Orlando, a team like Miami, a team that's always gonna compete, a team that's never looking to tank, a team that's coached by a competitor like Eric Spoelstra. I expect them to be a very competitive team. I see y'all talking about Detroit and Atlanta. I think they're in that group. I think that's the tier right there. I think that's that second tier of teams, and I believe Miami's in that group. And then so after that,
5, 6, 7, like around that space. With
4, 5, 6. Yeah, and after that is where I see Milwaukee, Boston, and those types of teams. So I could see that. I'm liking Miami right now, chill. I really am. Staying with improvement, y'all. Like I said, today we're talking improvement. We're gonna talk about those Christmas games.
Yep.
A little bit later, y'all. So if y'all haven't seen the Christmas schedule, check it out real quick so we can be prepared to conversate about it or converse about it. I'm sorry. Chill. Speaking of just improvement, you see Scoot Henderson in the lab. He's in the lab with Drew Holiday. Portland's trying to be taken seriously, and I'm not mad at him. Scoot Henderson trying to get better. Drew Holiday, I like the fact that he came and embraced the young fella quick, and they got in the lab together. Once again, I've already said. I mean, as you know, chill. I live in Portland, and Portland is a basketball town. This is a basketball city. This is a sports city. I mean, they're still fighting to try to get a baseball team and everything out here. They love sports and they love professionals. And Drew Holiday, I think that he's getting nothing but love and embraced here. And I think it's good that they got a guy like Drew Holiday. He's just a professional. What do you think this will impact? How do you think this will impact Scoot? Also, don't forget Dollar came back home. So you got Dame and Drew together. I know Dame's not playing this season, but still his impact coming home. And I mean, by all intents and purposes, Chill, this is still Dame City. Like they still love when Dame left, Portland did not turn their back on Dame. It was still always love for Dame. He still, they love him here. So what do you think this will do for Scoot Henderson and his development and his improvement? Because once again, chat, that's what it's about today. We're talking improvement today.
Yep.
What do you think about that, Chill?
Well, you and I had this conversation, Ox, about Dylan Harper playing behind Foxy, how much better he's going to be playing behind him, like having to deal with Fox every day in practice, learning from Fox, understanding the game, seeing how to be a professional, and understanding exactly how to play basketball at the professional level, not just playing basketball, but also conducting yourself at the professional level. But particularly basketball, how much better he's going to be from today in August of 2025 to August of 2027, how much different Dylan Harper is going to look. I promise you're going to see a drastic difference. If Scoot would have had, to your point, how much people love Dame up in Portland. If Scoot would have had Dame for those 2 years that he was in Milwaukee, if Scoot would have had him for those 2 years, how much better of a league guard would Scoot be today? Just being in practice every day with Dame, understanding the game, understanding angles, seeing how Dame operates, seeing how Dame sees defenses. How much better would he be? So then you add in a guy like Jrue Holiday, because when Scoot showed up, the idea on Scoot was he was Russell Westbrook type athletic, which he wasn't. And I think that was an unfair tag on him because he wasn't that good. But the tag on him was Russell Westbrook athleticism, which suggests to me that there was some elite athleticism there. He might not have been Russ good, but there was some elite athleticism there. Knox, when I see a guy who's elite athletically, that tells me that I can work with you defensively, because that's half of it right there. When a guy is elite athletically, that means you can move your feet. That means that you jump high, you run fast, stuff like that. You're side to side. We can work with that. So now what I have to do is I just got to teach you how to play defense. Who better in today's game to learn how to play defense from than Jrue Holiday? I don't think that there's a better guy to learn how to play defense from. And if I'm doing that, right? If I'm doing that, I have no choice but to get better. And I think people get wrapped up in the notion of Jrue just being a point guard and he needs the ball in his hands. Jrue played off the ball a lot in Boston. Let's be clear about that. He played off the ball a lot in Boston. Not only did he play off the ball a lot in Boston, he also played off the ball a lot when he was in Milwaukee. I vividly remember Middleton having the ball in his hands a lot too. I remember Giannis having the ball in his hands a lot too. So Jrue can play off the basketball. He can play the two with Scoot playing the one. I don't think that's a bad thing where he's playing off the ball. But I think that the development of Scoot last season to this season, his numbers went down in terms of his points. But I think that him understanding the game is where that came in. And I think that there's some things that he's learning. So I don't look at that as a bad thing. Like there's some people like, well, he had a down year. So, well, he's in year 2. I think this year we're going to see a different Scoot. I think we're going to see a more defensive-minded Scoot. I think we're going to see a smarter Scoot. I think we're going to see a stronger, get downhill, better at the rim finishing Scoot, understanding the game more, and having a guy like Damian Lillard in my ear, knowing that he's coming back next year, right? Knowing that he's coming back next year, and I'm going to be dealing with him on a consistent basis. I have no choice but to get better. I think the Trailblazers are in a great position having both Jrue Holiday and Damian Lillard over there to mentor Scoot, and because I think Scoot's their future. I do. Yeah. I think he's their future.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited to get to some Trailblazers games this season. Very, very excited. I'm liking what this team is doing. I think the defense has just stepped up exponentially when you add a guy like Jrue Holiday.
Yep.
I understand that he's not the defender he was previous to this season, but I think when you bring a guy that's still competitive, still a great athlete,
yep,
and just his presence being there and demanding that everybody competes on the defensive end because they're all capable of it.
Yep.
I'm excited to see how this works out. I really am, and I'm excited to see where Scoot Henderson can go from here. You know,
you look at this Portland dynamic. So Ox, again, I got Damian Lillard on the sideline. He's in my ear showing me the game. I got Drew Holiday on the floor as a defender. I'm learning from him. And I got my coach, who's a Hall of Fame point guard, right? I got him. I mean, I don't know how I can fail unless I'm just not smart enough, right? I'm just that's the only way this thing can fail if I'm just not smart enough. And remember where he came from. He came from what was that? Something Ignite that was in the G League.
The D League Ignite. The G League Ignite.
The G League Ignite. All right, so if he's coming from the G League Ignite, which we've seen a lot of guys come from the G League Ignite that are clueless because they ain't teaching those guys how to play over there. So when he comes into the game, just raw steak. That's what he comes into the game like. And it's now up to the Trailblazers to show him how to play. When you get Chauncey Billups in the fold, you get Drew Holiday in the fold, you get Damian Lillard in the fold. I can't see how this thing fails, man. I don't. I think that this thing works. I do think that this one works.
I think that's just depends on what you consider failure and what you consider working. Because I don't see the Trailblazers being making a deep playoff run or anything like that. Yeah. Especially this year. Even when Dame gets back, I don't know. I mean, nobody knows exactly what type of player he'll be, what he'll still have. So it just depends on what we consider failure. I know a lot of people that believe that there's 29 failures every season.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't win the championship, then you fail. There's a lot of people that look at it that way. So it just depends. I think I don't look at it that way. And I think the Trailblazers they're headed in the right direction. Now I will say that. Chill, before we get to the lobby, because I did send a link out. I got some guys in the lobby ready to come up and chill with Chill. But before I do that, want to talk about a couple things. First and foremost, y'all know what we do on Saturdays. We're gonna give y'all that blast from the past player. So also, before I say that, I gotta say I've been loving these Throwback Thursdays, and I hope all of y'all have been loving these Throwback Thursdays too. If you missed this past Thursday, you missed a treat. It was a great game. Loved it. And so let's talk about a blast from the past player.
Before you go there, Ox, like when we do these blasts from the past, like what it does is it reminds me, like, one, I forgot how bad that Minnesota team was that Kevin Garnett was on. That's number one. And you've been telling me this, Ox, for years now. I forgot how nice Rondo was, yo. I forgot how nice Rondo really was, yo. I'll be lying to you if I said that I'm watching Rondo. I'm like, God damn, I forgot how nice Rondo was. I'm bullshitting. I see what Ox looking at. I do.
Another day in the office.
I see what Ox is looking at. I forgot how nice he was. I do. I definitely see I definitely see what Ox was looking at. His ability to get downhill and finish, his ability to attract the defense and look the defense off, his ability on defense, because he got those mitts for hands, basically got those huge hands, and they stayed busy, stayed with whomever had the ball, who was in front of him, whoever had the ball, he stayed keeping you busy, ripping you, and he was ridiculously physical at the point guard spot, so you wasn't roughing him up. Bro, Ox, I'm telling you, man, I'm watching that, and I'm like, I see what Ox looking at. I forgot how nice Rondo was. I did. I really did.
It's another day in the office.
I forgot how nice Rondo was, yo.
And for a guy that can't shoot to attract so much defense all the time to be able to get guys open, I think that's a skill of its own. How do I attract so much defense with having not being able to shoot, and also without being able to shoot, knock down timely jump shots, but. Everybody, we already did a Rondo blast from the past. I guess when you're just that great, we want to keep going back to Rajon. Today, Chill, I need you to educate all the watchers, all those that don't know, because I'm sure there's a lot of us that do know. Chill, let's talk about Dre Miller. This Saturday, August 9th, 2025, our blast from the past today is none other than the great Andre Miller. Let's talk about it, Chill.
So, okay, on the surface, Ox, if you see Andre Miller, Andre Miller is awesome. Okay, so on the surface, Ox, when you see Andre Miller, he really doesn't look like much, to be honest with you. Not super duper athletic, doesn't jump high, doesn't run fast, right? Isn't a ridiculously great scorer, But you know what? I want the basketball in that dude's hands. He will compete on the defensive end. Not only will he compete on the defensive end, he knows you. At you, my job as the lead guard and the table setter is to set you up and to get you involved in the offense. And I know you. I know where you want the ball. I know how you want the ball. And this is just starting to play with you. This isn't me playing with you this isn't me playing with you over the course of like 4 or 5 years. This is me playing with you just for a little bit of time and recognizing who you are immediately. I know who you are, and I know that you need the basketball in your hands, and I know where you need it in your hands. Andre Miller is one of those guys. He led the league in assists. In addition to leading the league in assists, he was great at taking care of the basketball. I think he averaged less than 3 turnovers a game for his career. That tells me that that's one of the smartest point guards in the game. I mean, he finished top 5 in Rookie of the Year coming into the league. And a lot of guys, and a lot of guys didn't really think much of Andre Miller. And Andre Miller is, if you watch him, he's going to blow you away with his game. But if you see him right from the beginning, like if you see his physical stats to see what he looks like, he might not look like much to you. But I tell you, everything that's necessary and everything that needs to be done right, he does it. Everything, making the right plays, he does that. Taking care of the basketball, he does that. Being able to pass with the best of them, he does that. I think Andre Miller, if I'm not mistaken, Andre Miller, when he retired, Ox, if you may be able to fact check this for me, but I think when he retired top 5 all time in assists. And if he didn't retire top 5, he definitely retired top 10. Great vision. Great vision, great ability to get downhill, finish with both hands, not just finish with both hands, finish at the rim. Wasn't jumping this high, but was jumping high enough to beat up on your big man, to get into the lane, and to make space. He could knock down the mid-range, and he wasn't soft neither. That's the other thing about Andre Miller, because again, if you look at Andre Miller on the surface, yes, if you look at Andre Miller on the surface and you hear him talk, you would think that, yo, this guy ain't really. Try punking him. I dare you to try to do that. Try if that's your game plan to go in against Andre Miller and push him around. Let me grab a piece of paper. Rip that game plan up, because that's not going to work. No, you're gonna have to try something else, because you're not going to be able to push him around. He was great, Ox. I loved everything about Andre Miller's game. Everything. He just had the misfortune of coming in and then like going away from guys when they were on their way. Like he was on those Cleveland teams early on. Like he got on that Cleveland team the year before. I mean, he left that Cleveland team the year before they got James, right? He was on that Denver team, and he got traded the year that Carmelo Anthony was actually turning into that guy, right? He's in Philly, and Philly is not very good. He got LaMarcus Aldridge. It's working, right? He got LaMarcus Aldridge. It's working with Brandon Roy, but then he gets moved off from them. So, I mean, we didn't really get an opportunity to see Andre Miller for a long period of time with a team like we did Rondo, right? Like we did Steve Nash. I don't think we got an opportunity to see Andre Miller, because he was great. Andre Miller was great.
Yeah, shout out to Dre Miller.
Yes, sir.
If y'all think Dre Miller was soft, I need y'all to do me a favor. Get on the panel on Monday, send super chats, and ask Ron to tell y'all his Andre Miller story. If y'all think Dre Miller is soft, ask Ron. He'll tell you.
I played against Andre Miller in college. He was a sophomore my senior year.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, he was and Ox, when I tell you, we go down and play the University of Utah. They're the number 4 team in the country at that time. This was in 1995. They're the number 4 team in the country. We're down 4 points at the half. Ox, when I tell you that they blew the game open, I think they went on like a 20-4 run to start the second half and ended up smoking us. Completely destroyed us. And Andre Miller, they had Andre Miller, they had Keith Van Horn, they had Doliak. I forgot the other guy that they had on their front line, but their front line was huge. I understand why later on, when we see, like in 98, it was in the national championship, I see why, because they were that good. They were.
Shout out to them. Before we get to the lobby, y'all, we got one more thing. I said I got a couple things before I get there, and let me get to this last thing, y'all. We have our 2005 Christmas schedule.
25, yep.
2025 Christmas schedule, y'all. Starting it off, we got the Cleveland Cavaliers against the New York Knickerbockers. Then we have the San Antonio Spurs against the Oklahoma City Thunder. I like that matchup. That's a good job, NBA. Good job. Houston Rockets versus LA Lakers. We got a Bron and KD show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like that.
Dallas Mavericks at the Golden State Warriors. Clay's going home.
Like
okay.
Mm-hmm.
And to wrap it up, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves at the Denver Nuggets. You know what? Chill. I don't like this already.
Uh-oh.
I tried. My bad. I know that was. I couldn't stop myself. Why don't the Clippers got a Christmas game?
Unbelievable. That's interesting that the Clippers don't have that they don't have a Christmas game, but the Lakers do though. Yeah, because I mean, if we being honest, it's a Laker town. We all know that. I don't think it's news, right? I don't think it's news. But to start from the top, Ox, I sent you a picture earlier of Evan Mobley. And I sent you a picture earlier of Evan Mobley. Ox, if that's an indication of what Evan Mobley looks like this coming season, I think that boy, you guys is in trouble. Yes, this season, you guys, if he beefed up like that and he's put on some weight like that, I think that's going to give him more confidence to be more aggressive and to be meaner, which is why I when you brought up Wemby with Kevin Garnett, I immediately thought to myself, man, I would have loved to have seen Evan Mobley get with KG. Mm-hmm. I would have loved to have seen that. But the Cavs Knicks on Christmas, I think that's going to be theater because that's the matinee game. That's the early game. So with that being the early game, we get to see exactly where Cleveland is in terms of competition. We get to see where the Knicks are. I get to see what that offense looks like against an elite defense because I think the Cavs this season, again, are going to have an elite defense. I think they're going to have a top 10 defense at minimum, maybe even top 5. I think they're going to be that good. Evan Mobley is going to have that defense humming again. So with him beefing up like that, I think he did that, Ox, because on the front line, dealing with guys like Cat, right? Especially in the Eastern Conference, dealing with guys like Cat in the Eastern Conference, dealing with guys like Giannis, dealing with guys like Joel Embiid, if Joel Embiid is going to be able to play, dealing with guys like that in the Eastern Conference, right? Dealing with Bam Adebayo, dealing with Khalil Ware. I got to get stronger because what I'm doing now, that's not to say that I'm not strong enough. I mean, I think that he's great still, but I got to get stronger. And if I'm stronger, that means that I can be more aggressive. That means I can move my weight around a little bit more and I can open up more opportunities, not just for myself, but for my crew too. So I actually like this stronger, bigger Evan Mobley. I ain't looking for like Giannis type of Evan Mobley. Now I ain't looking for that kind because that could slow his game down. But I'm looking forward to that one. You had brought up Wemby and you had brought up Wemby and Wemby and Chet on Christmas.
Right. Yeah.
I tell you what, Ox, I think it's interesting that you already know how I feel about Wemby, how he looks at Chet. And I think that Chet tries to look at him that way, but it's not the same because I just feel like Wemby's better. I feel like Wemby just does a lot of other things better than him. And because he does a lot of other things better than him, I think that it enhances the rivalry when Wemby looks at him like that. So I think that's a plus, right? So with that being said, right? With that being said, I think that's going to be a damn good game. I think it's interesting that the Rockets open up against Oklahoma City in Oklahoma City. So KD got to see ring night in Oklahoma City. I think that's interesting. Yeah,
that is
I think
evil.
That
is evil.
I think that's interesting that he got to go to Oklahoma City for ring night when, like, you're gonna see these dudes, raise the banner, something that you guys couldn't do. You guys was trying to do that you couldn't do.
Foul. That's wrong. That's wrong. That's just cold. What I just noticed just now actually is that of the 10 teams playing on Christmas, 80% of those teams are from the Western Conference. We got 8 out of 10 Western Conference teams playing on Christmas.
Kind of crazy. I asked that. Well, if you think so, the Knicks are playing. With the Knicks playing, so the Knicks in the top 2 seeds, like no Atlanta, no Orlando, no Detroit, right? No Milwaukee, no Giannis on Christmas, which I also think is interesting. We tried it a couple years ago. I even want to say last year with Philly and Miami, and Joel Embiid didn't play. So I mean, I think that they can. I think that they possibly looked at it like that. That it's possible that we can't have Miami on again on Christmas. So that might have. Now, don't get me wrong, Ox. I think that the Western Conference, the bottom half of the Western Conference, I think it's superior. But I think the first five, to be honest with you, I think the first 5 teams in the East. I mean, I don't think that the Western Conference is superior to them. I don't. I do. So Cleveland, the Knicks, Orlando, Atlanta, and Detroit. I don't think the top 5 seeds in the Western Conference are superior to those guys. We already seen it in the finals this year. We already saw it in the finals this year. I was one who thought that Indiana was just gonna get smoked, right? I thought that Indiana was gonna get smoked. Instead, we had a 7-game series, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had a 7-game series. So, I mean, I'm not gonna say until I see it. I don't think that they're superior.
Yeah, I think this is another year of the East being underrated, like last year.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be another year. I think the East definitely, obviously, with losing Tyrese, Jason Tatum, and Dame, I think they went this way, but I still think they're going to be underrated a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, y'all make sure to tap into those Christmas State games. Also, Chill, before we move on to the lobby, I want to say I think Wemby is better than Chet, but I don't think Chet knows that.
Chet does not know that. No,
and I don't think Chet believes that, and I'm happy about that. I like the fact that Chet looks at Wemby the same way Wemby looks at Chet. I don't think Chet looks at Wemby as superior, and I don't think he should. I think he should continue to go at Wemby, and I think that those two should be, the clash of the Titans every time they see each other. You know what I mean? Every time they see each other, I think that should be the clash of the Titans. Now, once again, I think Victor Wembanyama is better than Chet Holmgren. I do say that. I don't really want to debate it too much with anybody, but I don't think Chet believes that, and I don't think Chet's going out at all. I think Chet's going to give Wemby everything he's asking for every time they see each other. 100% I do. So I'm going to be tapped into that game for sure on Christmas.
Yes.
I don't know how many other Christmas games we're going to be watching, but I'm going to be watching that one.
I'm sure going to be watching that one, no doubt.
Shout out to Foxy getting on Christmas, baby.
How about that, right? He had to leave Sacramento to get on Christmas, unfortunately.
Hey, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah,
you know what, Chill? Maybe we might have an All-Star game in San Antonio soon.
How about that? Even though don't get me started on that. Do not.
Yeah, I'm not going to get started on that because that the bitter side of me comes out.
And to your point, Ox. He doesn't believe it. Like some people have told him that. You're like, that dude better than you. I don't know how you think he better than me, but we'll see about that when I see him the next time we see him. Yeah. Some people have told him that. I don't think he believes it. I think it's going in one ear and out the other when it comes to Chet. No, I don't think he believes that. Which I think fuels the fire, to be honest with you, Ox. I do. I think it fuels it because Wemby is looking at this dude like, this dude really think that he's nice like me. This dude thinks that he's as good as me. And what I'm looking forward to, I'd like to see these guys match up in the playoffs. That's what I'd like to see.
That would be nice. I would like that too. I would like that for sure. All right. Oh, sorry, Lobby. I'm sorry. I'm a W host, so let me do my job. Anonymous became a YouTube member. Shout out to you, Anonymous. Thanks for being a member. In 913 T-Mac, top of the rising, fellas. Chill. Send the link. Right on.
I think Ox already dropped it.
I did send the link. T-Mac, I told you, I believe that was just yesterday or the day before. How to get up on Chill with Chill, how to be here. I sent the link out, and you know what? My man clicked the link. What's up, T-Mac? What's going on, brother?
Yes, sir.
Yo,
yes,
I'm on. You can hear me? I can hear me.
You hot.
Yo. Peace and blessings to you, brothers, man. Y'all doing the God's work. The basketball gods are loving y'all. Y'all doing y'all thing up here, bro. I'm a huge PC fan. I think now for like 2 years now. I've been tapped into y'all. Y'all enhanced my basketball knowledge immensely, bro. I've been watching basketball and playing for years. So kudos to you, brothers, bro. Y'all been doing your thing, man, for sure. Just want to show my love out.
That's a fantastic beard too, by the way. I'm gonna put that out.
Oh, bro.
Let's put that out there. That's fantastic. I never was able to grow a beard. Like I could get the goatee going, but I could never get a beard. That's why I never did it, because I could never do it, yo. I just never did it.
Hey, you got the baby going on, man. You know what I'm saying?
We definitely appreciate you, you know what I'm saying, being a member for so long and just checking out the content, clicking the link and everything too, brother. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man, bro. It's my pleasure, bro. Like, for sure, bro. But chill, bro. Chill, bro. And I know people been on you about it, and I love that you stand your ground. But I've been going crazy ever since this CP3 and John Stockton argument, bro. And I know you tired of it. I am too. I've been yelling in my house, telling my son, like, bro, he don't know what he's talking about. I need to see Chill. I need to see him. Well, I can't go another day without just saying something to my mans. And you made me actually, because I've been like I'm the 2000 baby. So like I was born in 92. So I was a 2000 baby on up. So I was like obviously the early Chris Pauls, the Vince Carters, the T-Max,
Darren Williams, guys like that. Mm-hmm.
the white and purple T-Max in middle school, like back in the day, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I'm in that era, you know what I'm saying? So I had to do a little bit of research of John Stockton, and what I would say to give him kudos, if you want the ultimate perfection base, like I hate to say basic, like it's disrespectful, but like fundamental is a better word. Fundamental point guard to get the job done. John Stockton is what you need to watch. Mm-hmm. Great entry pass person. I think I would say, because I kind of rated him. I didn't know what to rate him as far as defense, but I can say he's kind of like, as a team defender, I think he's a little bit underrated, I would say. His IQ was pretty damn good, playing the passing lanes. Just kind of, I would say, leading in those cases as far as being a defender, being at the right spot at the right time, just making sure, being in complete control of his team. Like, obviously, the Utah Jazz wouldn't be who they be without John Stockton, no matter how I feel about him. And I mean, just a perfect point guard if you just want to just get the job done. And I think he was definitely necessary for that Utah Jazz team. That's why they went to, championships. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they didn't finish the job, obviously, because of the greats, but still, just being there. And that's why I hate when people hate on LeBron when he gets there 10 times, and that's just fucking just normal to people. And anyway, that's a whole nother story. But a whole nother story. But me personally, I rank Chris Paul very high, especially on my point guard list. He's in my top 3 if I'm not mistaken, if I just think it off my head. And he's that point guard that was just, I've never seen a player other than, I would say, LeBron James, that elevates his team to the next level with nobody's. Nobody ever heard of Tyson Chandler before Chris Paul.
I had that Oklahoma City team getting sued.
Oh my God!
I had them getting. We actually had this conversation before the season started. The over and under for 25 games. I ain't had them winning 20 games that year. I thought they were going to get dog walked every game. I didn't, and they end up making the playoffs. I'm like, give me a break.
What? And taking that Houston Rockets team to 7 games.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like.
So wait, real quick. I gotta say this. Nobody ever heard of Tyson Chandler before Chris Paul. I cannot sit through that.
Yeah,
I can't, because Tyson Chandler was a man child.
Okay.
Oh, that's one. There's a reason why he was a lottery pick. There's a reason why he was what he was, and when he was in when he was playing for the Grizz, not the Grizz, when he was in Memphis, I think, if I'm not mistaken. He was playing for the Grizzlies. In addition to that, I mean, he was a perfect complement to Chris Paul. It wasn't like, it wasn't like Chris Paul turned him into that. Like, I mean, we see how many times you guys have said to me, Rudy can't catch. Well, turns out Tyson Chandler can catch, and it looks a lot better if he can catch lobs. It looks a lot better when he can catch and finish around the rim. Well, you got a point guard like Chris Paul. It's not like Chris Paul is just spoon feeding them. I mean, he is getting them the basketball, and it just looks a lot better with him. But to your point about John Stockton, the best way to describe him is the way Bill Simmons said, and I'll never forget this quote for as long as I live. He said, it's John Stockton is missionary sex, but it's the best missionary sex you ever had in your life. And he's right. He's 100% right, because it's not a lot of fluff. It's not a lot. If you watching it, it's not a lot of fluff. It's not a lot of flash. But I can tell you right now, you watch this dude and you watch him long enough, you'll get captivated by the way he plays basketball. You'll get captivated by his ability to deal, by how good he is off the basketball, how he's getting steals, how he's finding guys in transition, how he's getting to the rim, this small guard in transition, how he's scoring the basketball. He doesn't take bad shots. Not only does he not take bad shots, very rarely does he make bad decisions. I love everything about John Stockton.
That just means she got beautiful eyes.
That's it. To be honest with you, because I don't when you look at production, I'll give you the production in terms of buckets from Chris Paul, because I think that Chris Paul was able to score in a multitude of ways. John Stockton had a great mid-range. John Stockton was a great pull-up jump shooter. He was a damn good long ball shooter. But when I talk about a guy running my crew, when I talk about a guy handling the basketball, and I get misconstrued a lot, and there are some people who've said, chill, we don't think that we know that you love John Stockton. It just seems like, you don't care too much for Chris Paul. It's not that I don't care too much for him. It's just that it's kind of like Kanye West. Like, when you keep telling me that you good looking, I'm starting to look for that pimple on your forehead. Now, and like, I know you fine. I know that you dope already. You ain't got to keep telling me that you dope. I already know it. And I know that Chris Paul is dope, but I got to keep listening to people tell me how dope he is. Like, I know how awesome this guy is. I know how good he is in the mid-range. I know how nice he is with the peel. I know how good he is off the basketball. I know how good he is as a one-on-one defender. I know how good he is as a leader to get guys in place and slow them down. But I feel like John Stockton was the same way. And now when it comes down to picking somebody, when the numbers look similar, all right, well, which one of these guys is your guy? Because if we're being honest, more times than not, when it's close, who you going with? You're going with your guy. That's more times than not. You're gonna go with your guy. And I feel like me, that's where I'm at with John Stockton.
And you know what? To the numbers point, you can argue John Stockton as far as the stats. He has better numbers, bro. He had a 20 and 28 game. He had some 20 games. You can debate just stats, and that's why I love this show, because it's more to the stats. A guy that can have lower stats can be more impactful than a guy that has 20, 28 or higher stats and can be less impactful. And that's why I go with Chris Paul, man, because going back to the scoring part, yes, I think Chris Paul is a better scorer than John Stockton, but I think the scoring made him so dangerous for everything else that comes with Chris Paul, as far as just playmaker. I think he's one of the best playmakers in the ever. To me, how he can just create advantages for his players. And going back to the Tyson Chandler, no disrespect to him, because Defensive Player of the Year in New York, you know what I'm saying, and actually a great rim protector and everything. But like somebody like him and DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin, he elevated those guys' games to like a whole nother level. My issue with not even the issue, but with John Stockton, I feel like Karl Malone was already like that.
But he wasn't, though. See, that's the thing. Like, a lot of people, that's where we get misconstrued right there. What you just said. Like, a lot of people forget Stockton got drafted in '84. Malone showed up in '85. They had to develop what they developed, right? It wasn't like Malone showed up and he was Jordan. It wasn't like Malone showed up and he was Jabbar. It wasn't like Stockton showed up and he was. I mean, Stockton made the All-Pro team. He was in year 4 by that point. You know, he was a rotation guard his rookie season. So they had to develop what they developed over the course of years. This isn't something where you just threw these dudes on the team together and now they're just awesome. That's why it blows my mind when I hear people saying stuff like, Stockton had Malone. Yeah, but we had to develop this thing. Right. It's easy to walk into my house and see how nice my house looked and be like, yo, you had a nice house. Yo, you know how long it took to build this house? It wasn't like I just walked into this house and this house was nice right from the beginning. No, it took a lot to build this house. So, I mean, I think that people get misconstrued with that.
Well, fellas, I do enjoy the conversation about CP and John Stockton, but we do got to keep it moving.
Yes, sir.
T-Mac, I appreciate you pulling up, bro. You are always welcome on Chill with Chill. Anytime you see that link, don't hesitate to push it, brother.
Absolutely, brother. Good to talk to you.
I'm getting back to work, y'all. Peace, love, and happiness.
Yes, sir.
Right on.
Yeah, Ox, they think that I don't care too much for Chris Paul. It's not that I don't care too much for him. Stockton's my guy. Yeah. And Stockton is my guy.
I mean, you know how that is, Chill. It's hard. And we talked about it on Thursday, how this space has become, where it's hard to give one guy praise without people thinking that you just hate the other guys.
Which I don't, by the way. I think Chris Paul is fantastic, and I talk about Chris Paul all the time, how fantastic he is. But if we're doing this Stockton Chris Paul thing, Chris Paul is whack as hell. I don't think that at all. No, I don't think that at all. No, I don't.
Right. Okay, next up, we got a guy coming up that you guys are all very familiar with. My main man, What's up, Penn?
What's good, y'all?
Pembroke, what up, brother?
What's good, Chill?
What's up,
Got to
brother?
talk about the Utah Jazz, yo.
Mm-hmm.
Before you do that, Penn, I just wanted to talk to the people. Penn, if I'm not mistaken, it's me and you today on Playback. We're doing a W game, right?
Yes, sir, we are.
All right.
I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Y'all
excited.
make sure to get there. I believe we have the Indiana Fever versus the Chicago Sky today at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Y'all do not be late. You can check out me, Penn, and some friends up on stage watching some great basketball.
Mm-hmm.
The floor is yours, Penn.
Yeah, I want to ask Chill, what do you think the Utah Jazz are not doing right with Lauri Markkanen? Because I got some insight into this. I watched way more Jazz games than I should have last year. I'm gonna be honest, way more than any human being should ever watch that trash ass team. I got some insights into what the Jazz are doing. I'm curious what you're seeing with the Jazz and what you think Will Hardy should be doing with.
So I watched
Lauri.
I watched a handful of games last year with the Jazz. I watched them handle the Knicks. I watched them play the Lakers in a dogfight. I watched them. I watched them against Phoenix, and I feel like one of the things that Lauri Markkanen is great at. I think he's a great transition player. I don't think he's a good transition player. I think he's a great transition player. When I say that, Penn, I'm talking about the better transition players in the game: Siakam, Giannis, James, Jalen. I think he's that good as a transition player. I feel like Will Hardy doesn't use him as much. I don't think that they play as fast as they should. With the purpose, like you can play with pace and you can play with pace and be a slower pace team, but play fast with purpose. The Celtics are a prime example of that. Like the Celtics don't have one of the fastest paces in the game. However, they do play with a pace and with a purpose. I feel like the Jazz, they don't play with that purpose. And I think that that's not enhancing Lauri Markkanen's game. Also think Lauri Markkanen is a really good box player. I think he's really good as a face-up box. I think he's good as a face-up big. I think he's good on the right block in particular. When I watch him face up, I think he's really good as a face-up big. And I don't think that they use him in that space. And I think the pieces around him don't complement him to use him that well neither. So I'm not really sure exactly what it is they're doing with him in Utah. That's why I'm having such a problem with his development there.
Okay, so I mean, as you mentioned, Lauri was an all-star 2 years ago, right?
Sure.
So he's a very good player. I think he's a lot better than people thought he was in Chicago when Chicago gave up on him. And I honestly think he's a lot better than people thought he was when the Cleveland Cavaliers gave up on him, frankly. But I mean, they got Donovan Mitchell, so no one's complaining, right, that they gave up on him. But I think the Utah Jazz are using him perfectly, and I'm gonna tell you why. So he addressed his inefficiency this year in February in a post-game presser or pre-game presser, I can't remember, and he talked about how they've changed his shot diet and how they've changed his role. And when I'm talking about, development, this is when I feel like a lot of fans and we just push back on each other because there's an assumption that if a dude is good at something, you're going to use him that way, right?
Right.
If Shaq's good on the box, you're going to use Shaq on the box. If Steph is good off the move, you're going to use Steph Curry off the move. You don't want to use Steph Curry like he's Jalen Brunson because that's not his game. But I think the Utah Jazz, given the fact that they knew they were going to be god-awful, they decided to use Lauri Markkanen very differently this past year. Some notable things to realize. He took 700 shots this year. How many of them do you think were beyond 25 feet?
Of those 700 shots?
Beyond 25. So that excludes corner threes, that
Sure.
excludes elbow threes, that excludes paint touches, mid-range shots. So of 700 attempts, how many do you think went from well beyond the arc, 25 feet to 29 feet?
Less than half?
Well, I mean, yeah, for sure. But I mean, like a number. Like
Okay, so of the 700, I'm going to say, let's say 200.
More than 200. So it's like 260-ish.
Okay.
So he was taking deeper threes. They were eliminating corners from him for a lot of reasons, obviously, because the most pressure that a star player can put is in the center of the floor. And also he was doing it off of very different sets. So he was doing a lot of catch and shoot off movement, which is not really his game. That's never really been his game. He's more of a pick and pop guy. He catches it stationary.
Yeah.
Now he's taking it off the move, which in my opinion is very dangerous for a 7-foot player to be able to catch it off the move is crazy, but that's going to hurt your percentages. I think they do this deliberately because they knew they were going to be bad and they were trying to tank. Like they were one of the worst teams in the league and they knew they were going to be the worst team in the league. So with this young roster, I think what Will Hardy is doing with them, with Keontae George, with Isaiah Collier, with Kyle Filipowski, who just won Summer League MVP,
Sure.
Walker Kessler, who you said hasn't met your expectations. I think they're doing a great job, yo. I think
I
they're
thought he
doing a
would be
great
better,
job.
to be honest with you. I thought Walker Kessler
Walker?
would be better as a defender. I do. I thought he would
He's
be
one of the
better.
best rim protectors in the league, chill.
But see, here's the problem with that, though. I don't think that it's been consistent. And the reason why I don't think it's been consistent, because I'm not really sure exactly what Will Hardy is doing with him. What kind of defensive scheme does he have with him? Like, is he a roamer? Is he a guy that you put in the paint? Is he a guy that you got him one-on-one on a block? Like, what kind of defensive big is he? Because that's my issue when it comes to Will Hardy. When I talk about overall with the Utah Jazz, I'm not really sure exactly what it is. What plan does he have with these guys? I've watched Walker Kessler, though.
Right.
I think it was the first 2 years. Like, he was a fantastic rim protector, and the reason why was because he sat in the paint. Like, he wasn't much of a roamer because
Right.
he had guys. Because you had guys on the wing. You had guys. You had guys at the top of the key. Like, he was the guy that was in the paint, protecting the rim and protecting the mid post. I feel like that's where he's at his strongest. But I feel like Will Hardy doesn't use him that way consistently. If he did, I feel like he would be better.
I mean, again, we're getting back to the same bumping point, which is you want Will Hardy to use his players to be better, right? He blocked fewer shots this year than he did the previous 2 years.
I mean,
for
isn't
sure.
that the idea, though, Penn? I mean, I got to use my guy. I got to maximize their strengths. I mean,
Provided your goal is to win basketball games.
Sure, absolutely.
But I don't think the Utah Jazz were trying to win basketball games this year.
Hmm.
They sat guys. They played guys against really good teams. They sat them against really bad teams. This was a tank from start to finish. This was a tank. And knowing that there were a few teams that were trying to do this, the Brooklyn Nets were trying to do this, the Raptors were trying to do this, the Jazz were trying to do this. There's a lot of teams that by design were trying to bottom out because they didn't think they had a window to contend. And they got to play the horse and pony show with the NBA, where they can't just outright shut Lauri Markkanen down for a season because then they get fined, right? So you got to play him some amount of games. This is the lowest amount of games I think he's ever played in his life. And you using him in a way that he's not designed to play. It's the same thing with Walker Kessler. Look, if I want to design a game plan to win basketball games for the Utah Jazz, I could win more than they want for sure. But how does that help me, Chill? How does it help me if I go from 23 wins to 27 wins and cost myself a potential chance at Cooper Flag? Now, obviously, the lottery guys were not in there. It was not in their luck, but they had a better chance at Cooper Flag than they would have had they played Lauri Markkanen in more games like he is. I think once they signed him to that contract,
don't. I mean, would you agree that based on what you're saying, that we have to then kind of speculate? You know, like if you're not allowing guys to be great, if you're not allowing guys to be great, all I can do is go off what I'm seeing. And
right.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but at that point, it leaves me too much space to have to speculate on how good guys are if you're not going to let these guys show what they can do.
Right.
That's fair. And I get what you're saying. And I think that's the short-term view. So Ox, like you played professionally. Chill, you played basketball, right? I'm sure you guys had strengths and weaknesses, right? Yes. So Chill, I want to ask, what was your strength as a basketball player and what was your biggest weakness?
I wasn't a big long ball shooter. I was really good in the mid-range.
Perfect.
I was really good in transition. I was a good defender. I was a really good rebounding guard too.
But you weren't a full defender. Like there's things you struggle with defensively and there's things you were really good at defensively, right? So what were you good at defensively? What were you terrible at defensively?
I was
not terrible, but bad.
I was good off the ball. I was good in passing lanes. I was good one-on-one, straight up. I struggled against bigger guards.
Okay.
I had a bit of a problem when it came to bigger guards, like 6'6", 6'7" guards. I struggled with those guards. Physicality wasn't really an issue with me, but bigger guards, athletic guards, I struggled with that.
Your lateral quickness was great.
I was a really good athlete, so my lateral quickness and my footwork was good. Yes.
But your lower base good? Like were you like okay? If I put you on the block against Carmelo Anthony, you good?
I might struggle against him because he's bigger than me.
Okay,
that's
cool.
Why.
Yeah, I mean, Melo.
Yes.
I took a leap. So I'm gonna say it this way, Cho. You as a long ball shooter, if I'm your coach and my goal is to win basketball games, right? And I see you taking jump shots, I got 6 guys on my team that are better than you at taking jump shots. Long balls, right?
Okay.
In mid range, whatever. But let's be honest, like you're not my star player. You're not getting mid range shots either. So if my goal is to win basketball games, I'm using you as a release valve, as a cutter, as a transition player, and as a point of attack defender on guards 6'4", right?
Mhm.
If my goal is to win basketball games, but if my goal is to make you a better basketball player in 3 years, I actually am going to make you shoot a lot of threes. I'm going to do that. I'm not going to do that for my win-loss record this year. I'm going to do that because I'm a rebuilding team. I don't care about winning. And if you actually become a good long ball shooter, you're a much better asset to me 3 years down the line. You also get paid more 3 years down the line.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what development coaches like Darko Rajakovic, Will Hardy, and Jordy Fernandez, these three specifically, were doing this year was they went to their dudes and they said, listen, Cam Thomas, Scotty Barnes, Lauri Markkanen, Isaiah Collier, y'all ain't getting this type of opportunity anywhere else in the league. Scotty, I know you good on the box. I know you can get to the front of the paint. I see your percentages. You know what I don't think you can do? I don't think you can hit 25-foot jumpers off the dribble. I know you can do it off the catch. I've seen you do it. I've seen you become an all-star, but I don't think you could do it off the dribble, Scotty Barnes. But if we want to see if you can do it, we might lose some games in the process. You good with that? It's a tough thing to ask.
Now that's fair.
Right.
That is fair what you just said. But my pushback with that though, Penn, is it's been 3 years now with Lauri Markkanen. All right, I can appreciate the idea.
You became an all-star in one of them, though.
Yes, we're gonna sacrifice. We may sacrifice some wins, right? We may sacrifice some wins to develop. We may sacrifice some wins for you to improve as a long ball shooter or as a box player. Yeah, we may sacrifice that in the long term. Okay, it's been 3 years now, right? And we're still at the bottom of the league. So he's 28. This isn't linear. When I mean when I say that, Penn, is this isn't something where we got 8-9 more years to do this. We don't have that much time left. I mean, he's 28 years old. How many more years do we have with him at this level before he starts to slow down?
Fellas, I got to interject. I'm sorry.
Sure.
We got a full house. I got to keep moving.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, Penn. I'll see you a little later on playback, bro. Y'all make sure if y'all want to catch Penn again, y'all be there 8 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be on playback, checking out some W basketball, man. Y'all get there on time, Penn. Enjoy your day. I'll see you later, man. Appreciate you for pulling up, dog.
See, Soro, this is stuff like this. Like Soro, Scotty made an all-star and he sucks. It's stuff like that when I hear that stuff from you, like I have really no reason to talk to you. I have no reason to listen to anything that you say, anything at all. There's no reason to even engage with you. As you were saying, Ox, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, damn, I forgot to tell Penn before you left, man. Penn, I ain't have any weaknesses, bro. I was cold all the way around. No weaknesses whatsoever, except for the free throw line. But
that's your kryptonite, Ox. That's your kryptonite.
Yeah. Tay, no, we're actually, you know what though, Tay? I'm about to call Ron as soon as we're off Chill with Chill, because that is the game we should be watching, is Valkyrie versus the Sparks. I believe we're scheduled to watch Chicago versus Indiana. As we all know, Caitlin, I don't believe she's playing again.
I think she's out for the season, to be honest with you, Ox. I think she's done for the season.
I think that'll probably be the best move for them. So with that being said, y'all, I'm gonna see about getting that switched up, y'all. Don't worry about a thing. Let's keep it moving. Who do we got next? We got Bulletproof 24. Let's see what Bulletproof got to say today. Bulletproof, you there?
Yep. What's up, guys? I hope you're doing well.
Oh my God, this good.
Yeah. Okay.
This the open gym dude. This the dude that used to run with Mars at open gym. Yeah.
You remember?
Yeah. This the open gym dude. Yeah.
You still remember?
That's who this dude is. Mm-hmm.
Let's see what you got, Bulletproof. We got to keep it moving, brother. What's up?
Yeah. So basically, you were talking about Andre Miller earlier, and I think that's very relevant to what I wanted to say, because you guys were talking in one of the panel episodes recently about how the traditional point guard is dead. And when I look back, because I like to watch older games a lot, and I'm like 28, 29, I've been watching since the late 2000s. I think the traditional point guard never really existed at the scale that some people like to say, because like when I look back, for example, at the statistics of like 60s, 70s, 80s, even 90s, players like Rondo, Rubio, Andre Miller, these guys were always rare to find. Like when you look at this at the assist leaders, that like the top 3, for example, most of the years the assist leaders were guys that could score, not just pass. It was always like he's either the leading scorer of his team, the second leading scorer of his team.
Mhm.
Like, I've never really come across an era where the majority of the assist leaders are guys that were averaging like 12, 13, 14 points. Most of the time, it's guys that are near 20 points a game or higher.
Yeah.
So that's the question. And yeah, that's the first thing I wanted to say. So what do you have to say about that?
I'm trying to figure out what your point is with that. Are you saying that the lead guard is always been one of the better bucket getters? I mean, I do believe that. Jerry West was a bucket getter, but Magic was the third leading scorer on the Lakers when they had Jabbar, and then Worthy showed up, and then he became the third leading scorer. And then Isaiah Thomas was the leading scorer with the Detroit Pistons, but when Joe Dumars shows up and he's the second leading scorer. And I feel like at the traditional point guard, he was always able to score. I don't think that there's any traditional point guard that's not able to score. It's just that my job was to get other guys involved. I mean, Tiny Archibald, he led the league in scoring. He also led the league in assists too. So, I mean, I got to get other guys involved in the game as well. And I think that, and I've actually, I'm on record saying this, that I was talking about John Stockton specifically. He couldn't be relegated to just being a distributor. I mean, he had to be able to score. And he proved that he could score when he was playing. I mean, I think he was the third leading scorer on the Jazz. He was averaging 17 a game. He was averaging 17 a game for a stretch, and that's a lot of points back then. But I feel like in today's game, that 17 would have to be more like 20, like a consistent 20 every night in order for them to have an opportunity to win. You couldn't just be like 15 to 17 a night. That's not going to be enough. No. So to your point, yes, point guards definitely. To your point, point guards definitely were bucket getters back then, and I mean, I think they're bucket getters today.
Yes.
Yeah, I think like the point of it going up to like 20, maybe that's because the league in general has been scoring more. So on average, you have to score more. And also, I think it's more efficient too, because if you have the ball that much in your hands, you have to be able to score for the defense to care. That's why I think players like Rajon Rondo are so special, because even though he was a bad scorer, he still was able to create these chances. Most of the other guys are able to create these chances for their teammates because they get double teamed, because they are dangerous scorers, like the way LeBron does it, the way Harden does it, the way Luka does it, even Magic, because Magic could score a lot of points when he needed to. So like all of these elite passers could score and put pressure on defenses, but guys like Rondo, Andre Miller too, to your point, because that's a great shout out. I mean, he was one of the few examples in my mind, like Ricky Rubio as well.
Yeah.
These guys are very rare. Jason Kidd, of course. I think like these are that is the rare breed, not guys like Steph Curry or Kyrie Irving. These guys are not rare. The real rare breed is the true point guard that cannot actually score and yet can still manage
Affect
to
the game.
create chances for his team.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, bulletproof, but Steph Curry and Kyrie are 100% rare breeds. We've never seen a Steph Curry before. But bulletproof, I do got to let you go, fam. Appreciate the insights as always.
Good to talk to you, brother. Yes,
all right,
sir.
my man. Have a good one, fam.
Yeah, that's the dude that used to be on Open Gym with Mars and Dub. I remember him.
Okay.
Him. Yep.
Well, next up, we got another familiar face around. We got my main man, big fan Breezy. What's up, Breeze?
What up?
Chilling, man. I'm gonna make it quick. I just, y'all talking about improving, and what I was seeing was champion from going from a contender to a championship team. It seemed like the perimeter defense is the the more consistent thing that changes. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying that with what's his name, Drew Holiday, as a recent Caruso with the Thunder. So basically, my question to Chill and Big Ox as well is, do y'all see the consistency of the championship rosters having better defense on a perimeter as a recent, opposed to the big men dominating the defense like it was maybe earlier in the NBA?
To your point, Breezy, I think that you just hit it on the head, because if, with the exception of the Lakers adding Anthony Davis in terms of the big. They already had Alex Caruso, but added Anthony Davis. I mean, to Toronto, they added Kawhi Leonard, elite perimeter defender. In 21, the Milwaukee Bucks, they take out Bledsoe and a better version of him and Drew Holiday. They end up in the NBA championship. In 22, you add Andrew Wiggins, perimeter defender, and he was great. In 23, you get KCP, who's one of the better perimeter defenders, and they just basically handed him over they got him for a bucket of extra crispy and a six-pack. It was almost nothing. I mean, and then you saw what happened in Boston, which I think that the Celtics should have been charged. The Celtics should have been charged with a felony for stealing Marcus Smart, for stealing Drew Holiday, to be honest with you, because they did the same thing in 21 that they did. They did the same thing in 24 that they did in 21. You replace Eric Bledsoe with a better version of him, because I do the same thing. Well, you do the same thing 3 years later with Drew Holiday. I replace Marcus Smart with a better version of that in Drew Holiday, and they end up winning in terms of perimeter defense. Then you add a guy like Derrick White. Well, same thing going on last year with this Oklahoma City team. This is just recently, right? This is just recently when you're talking about adding perimeter defense. I think that is, to be honest with you, I think you hit it on the head. Yes, that's definitely been the mantra. Sure, I can get with that.
Yeah, nah, that's all I got, man. I love the show, yeah.
Good to talk to you, brother. Absolutely.
All right, Breeze.
I didn't even think about that, Ox. That's interesting that he brought that up, because I didn't even think about like what that was though. So yeah, that's a real good point from it, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
All right, next up, we got another familiar face, a friend of the channel, my man, Classic. What's up, Classic?
What up?
Yo, what up, guys?
What up?
What up? Yeah, with Lauri Markkanen and the Utah Jazz, yeah, it does kind of suck that he's on the Jazz, but the Jazz wasn't always this just a terrible franchise, and that's actually what I want to get into. Is I'm starting to realize the reason why the Jazz are a terrible franchise is fans like you, Ox, and your take the other day on Derrick White and Trey Young. I was surprised that came from you, because I really thought that you value like the stuff that role players do, like playing defense, making threes, getting offensive rebounds, getting defensive rebounds. And whenever you said you would take Trey Young at like basically every form of basketball over Derrick White, that didn't make sense to me. And so now we get to the Utah Jazz. Even though the Jazz have never won the championship, they've always been like, to me, like a playoff team. When they had Carlos Boozer, they had Derrick Williams. Whenever they had like Karl Malone, John Stockton. But I feel like now the Jazz got to the point of where fans don't care about winning. So let's just start tanking and making our team better. And I think that's why Lauri Markkanen is in the situation he is in now.
Yeah.
Real quick, I just want to address that, Classic, because I understand what you're saying. There's a lot of people that gave me some pushback because of that, and they said the same thing you said, like, "Oh, that's strange coming from you. I would expect you." I do like to big up players that nobody talks about, people disrespect, and people assume that they're weak players or role players. But when there's a gap this big as far as talent, there is a significant gap between Trey Young and Derrick White. On top of that, like I said, I think Derrick White is a pretty good defender, but I don't think he's locking anybody up. I don't think him by himself is changing your defense. I think he's a very good team defender, which is a big deal and is very valuable. Trey Young changes your whole entire team. He changes your franchise, all of it. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, it would be very rare that I could see myself ever choosing Derrick White over.
Classic. We also have to remember too, Classic. Classic. We also got to remember too, though, Classic. We also have to remember too that in different situations, there's different players. I think that Trey Young, I think that he enhances your unit as a ball handler, as a shot creator, as a distributor. I think he enhances your unit in a number of different ways. I think that Derrick White is a complementary piece that you got to put him in the right space. I don't feel like you got to do that much with Trey Young. That's why I feel that way about him.
No, and I disagree, and I feel like I love Trey. I feel like he was underrated those years that he took the Hawks to the Eastern Conference Finals. But I feel like it's been almost a decade since he's done that. Like it's been a long time, and I feel like we're
It's
still
only
living
4
off that.
years, man. Damn.
4 years is
4.
a long time, and since those 4 years, Derrick White has become a better player, a
On
winning
a great
player.
team, around a great
But
around a
but
great
and
cast of
Till,
players, though.
you're
That's
not
not
gonna like
fair,
this, but
Classic.
Derrick White is the reason why that team is great because
He's one of the
with
reasons why.
Mazzulla's
Yeah,
system,
he's
with
one of the
hold
reasons
on,
why.
hold on, with Mazzulla's system, they are a heavy 3-point shooting team,
Sure.
and I think Derrick White has misled y'all to thinking that everybody on the Celtics can shoot, and that's a lie. Jason Tatum, he's become a terrible 3-point shooter. Jaylen Brown is a terrible 3-point shooter. Drew Holiday has become a terrible 3-point shooter. Al Horford, he was not a good 3-point shooter this year. But the reason
So
why
it's
the
just
Celtics
it was just Derrick White. So basically,
because
we're
of
just saying
Derrick White.
Wait,
And
basically, we're just saying
Derrick White,
classic. It was Derrick White was the reason that this team was a good 3-point shooting team. It was
yes,
just
and
Derrick
we
White.
saw that
If
when
you,
Jason Tatum
look,
when Jason
I'm telling you
Tatum
like
tore
this.
his Achilles.
I'm telling you like this. If you these past 3 seasons, if you take Derrick White off the Celtics, and replaced him with another role player, you put Peyton Pritchard in there, they still win
No, they
win a
don't.
bunch of games. If you
Peyton
take
Pritchard is not making an
classic,
all-defensive team.
If you take Trey Young off the Hawks,
they're Utah.
they damn near kicked them out the NBA.
They're Utah. That's who they
Well,
are.
we
They're
can almost
Utah.
kick them out of the NBA now. They missed the playoff a few years. Like the Hawks ain't making no noise. If you replace the Hawks with Trey Young,
If
you get a
take
better
Derrick White
defender.
off of any team he's ever been on, we don't skip a beat.
Classic. You do know that Drew Holiday, the year they won the NBA championship, I think Drew Holiday was part of a crew that made the most threes. I think Drew Holiday made the most threes in his career. I think he made over 200 threes that year. That was the most in his career. So he wasn't a terrible 3-point shooter. That's just not true.
He was terrible last year. The 24
okay, maybe
he
might not have been as good as he was the year before, but he wasn't terrible though. We're not doing that.
Shooter.
No,
and the Celtics won. They won 60+ games with 4 players on the court that were terrible at 3-point shooter. And Derrick White was the most consistent 3-point shooter on that team, on a team that shoot the most threes in the NBA.
They weren't terrible, Chill. This is crazy, a crazy narrative push. No. I have to the extent that I haven't heard for a long time. Derrick White is the reason.
Okay, so what about when Tatum tore his Achilles in that game 6? Was Derrick White not amazing?
He was great. Yes.
Derrick White is amazing a lot, but he's not. What I'm trying to say is y'all are trying to compare a Toyota to a Porsche.
Okay, what about the year that Miami?
Okay, y'all are
Classic,
trying to.
You said that they would
have did Derrick White not hit that game?
Yes. Okay. So this is what you're doing now. This is what you're doing. What you're doing is you're trying to quantify moments with great play. It's a lot of moments. That's what you're doing. And for you to tell me that they were horrible, you do know that the Celtics were number 1 last year and made threes. They're not number 1 last year and made threes when they got 4 guys who are terrible at the long ball line. Classic. That's just not true. Come on, man. You're better than that.
And then see what you did, Classic. Now we got Penn in the comments trying to convince us that Derrick White's a top 35, 45 player. This is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. There's 30.
Claire's already hitting me. Claire already hit me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we out of here. There's 30 teams in NBA, and Derrick White's not the top 35, 40 player. That's just ridiculous. But Classic, we do got to let you go, bro. I always appreciate when you pull up.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all, man. But yeah, put respect on the modern day Ginobili, man. But y'all have a good one.
Wait! Hold up.
Focus, Ox. Focus, Ox.
Focus. All right, see, Classic did that shit. He did that on purpose.
Yes, he did do that on purpose. 100% he did.
No way.
I gotta calm my man down.
Whoa. All right, Chill. Go ahead. Let's just take us home, Chill.
Hey, man.
Wait. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Super chats, real quick.
Yes, sir.
Got to. Oh, I can't believe he said that.
Because I'm not an L host. He is not.
Rock out Deuce. KG is the top 3 power forward. That dude from last episode, bogus.
Yeah, he talking about Brandon.
Yeah, that was insane. And y'all do know Charlie Villanueva did not and does not have cancer.
He does not.
Anonymous sent super chat. Didn't have much to say, but appreciate you anyway. Followed it up. I guess he did have some things to say. Hey, Chill, got referred by Mars. Can we talk in private?
Got referred by Mars. I don't know what that means, but sure. Yeah, I don't know what that means, but okay.
Pimp named Slickback. Right now, Cam Thomas is being offered $16 a year. Take it and ball out. Get a bigger next contract. If you take qualifying and demand a trade, you're not getting those shots on another team. Yeah, man, get that money, Cam.
Yes,
That money.
sir.
I think the advice that Jeff T gave you was very good advice. Cowboy Bob, ain't Trey a traditional PG? Go New York, go.
I thought he was. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought he was.
Appreciate everybody that pulled up today. Brought their good basketball takes, some mediocre basketball takes, and just all overall great basketball talk. Though that's what we're here for. That's what we love to do on Thursdays and Saturdays. Y'all know where to find us. Don't be late. Also, like this video on the way out if you didn't like it on the way in, and don't forget to catch us tonight on playback.tv. It'll be me and Penn up there, and we'll be bringing people up to watch the WNBA. Right now, we are scheduled to watch the Fever in the Sky, but I'm going to do my best to get that to the Valkyrie versus the Sparks.
Absolutely.
So, chill.
We'll see you guys soon. It's great to see you guys here. You know where to find us at every day. Every day, Monday to Friday, we're on the panel. And if you can't find us there, you can find us right here on Chill with Chill on Thursdays and Saturdays. We will see you guys soon. Until then, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother. When's the last time you talked to your mother? Call your mother. And if you're ever in the Portland area and you had too much to drink, my big fella got you covered. He got you covered. He'll make sure that you get home. So good to see you guys. We will see you guys soon. Until then, take it light. Take it. Absolutely, man.
No doubt.
See you guys.
Don't forget tomorrow, Press Box tomorrow at, I believe, 11:30 Eastern. 11 Eastern. 11 Eastern. Y'all don't miss the Press Box. Maybe tomorrow y'all hear some good talk. Breakdown Shador Sanders yesterday. All of those type of things. Y'all don't be late to that. Playback again tonight. Just remind y'all, don't be late to that. Also, we'll see you on Monday. Peace. Never ever drink and drive, y'all. We'll see y'all next time.
Later. Absolutely, man.